In the bottom right-hand side, the blue Terran player representing the Shopify Rebellion. This is ByuN. It's a little bit blurry today. It's in the top left, dark. Our red Zerg from Dragon Kaizi Gaming. Yeah, ByuN's camera quality is a little on the low side as we get set up here. A couple of drones on the way out. The SCV and the depot on the way through. So we get ourselves up and rolling, ready to set for the next couple of moments. Spawn pool building. So it's actually going to be a spawning pool first. That maybe leads us into some aggressive opportunities here from Dark. ByuN is building a low ground barracks and make it two, so he is going to play the 2 Rax Reaper setup here on Oceanborn. That's going to be ByuN's opening. Let's see how that works out for him as we get this underway. The 2 racks coming through, the hatch gas and pool coming up. Spawning pool will finish up. Again, a hatch gas and everything all coming in. Fish shadow's only at the bottom right of this map. It's true. Yep. It's not symmetrical. There is only one big terrifying fish in the map. As these firstlings are going to come across, they will obviously meet a full wall off in the low ground, so unlikely they're going to be able to break through or anything. And the Reapers should just be able to start dealing with those without too many issues, I'd imagine. Turns back towards the main. Couple links in at the bottom. Reaper going to continue into the main base initially to spot a bit of what's going on as well. So just scouting out over there. As yo, Suevo, thank you so much for the 46-month resub. Welcome back. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, Robert50 coming in with the Prime sub as well. Thank you so much. Also, much appreciated, guys. As a couple of Reapers continue to cruise about, we do have triple CC behind this from ByuN, so playing as greedy as he can on the follow-up here. So just Reapers into triple CC, economy play. That's going to be how ByuN tries to get himself into an advantageous position in this game number 1, looking to give a Shopify roster. I mean, we talked to Harstem after his week 1 match. He joined us to cast the Scarlet series, I believe, against, who was that? Scarlet against Nightmare, I believe. And he was saying, you know, there's a lot of pressure on Shopify. Everyone felt the pressure because they really underperformed last season. They didn't make playoffs when obviously Shopify are a team that absolutely should be making playoffs. And they got a win last season. So, again, big matches today. And a Shopify team that, like I say, is absolutely wanting to make up for what they missed out on last time around. So, again, just from the team's point of view, I don't think the team themselves are putting pressure on these players, but I think the players, you know, they all, you know, think of their team in very high stead and so on, and have very high respects. Definitely think they all want to kind of come out and do their absolute best and try to give this team the kind of performance it deserves when it comes to the World Team League. There's 5 of them were made, and they continue to cruise around just in the main base or so. Dark did make quite a lot of links, so his economy has been slowed. Now that the Terran has already this very fast 3cc, well, now I feel as though that's going to give you quite the edge here. As ByuN, I feel like his economy is going to be absolutely booming this game. Absolutely booming. Starport coming up, stim packs on the way. Obviously, we'll see what ByuN wants to do. It looks as though he'll just set up to stim and then have a medevac drop across the map, or a double medevac drop going across the map. That seems to be the initial plan here. Those lings still set up in the center. Impact coming in, the Rotron and the Lair coming through, 9 drones in production. More Marines popping out, and plenty of Marines just producing in for the moment here. We do have their medevacs on the way up. chambers, the light coming through. The Overlord going to start to take a few shots of damage. It's going to go down. Dark is going to end up supply blocked. So, a supply blocked Dark. I mean, he's really not having a good start of this game, honestly, as Depot will get raised. So there goes at least one option for Dark to maybe start taking a little bit of a turn back into it or so. Yeah, he's just really not having the game that you'd expect Dark to want to be having, right? So, just getting supply blocked behind an economy and everything, he really is having a pretty rough go of it so far. We'll see if ByuN can keep the pressure up with these medevacs and everything, and obviously potential for ByuN to put himself in a really good spot then. As he scans up, he's going to get rid of a lot of these creep tumors, knock down some of the active ones as well, which is really good. The more of these you get rid of, the less control Dark is going to have on this map, as he has been building these roaches. He is on his way to the roach speed as well, so getting the roach upgrades operational here. Couple tanks move down, and Marines continue to settle. Again, missiles, carapace, roach speed, all of that coming through here. Dark gets his upgrades into a pretty good spot. Still behind that of the Terran. Again, the greed of ByuN is really quite fantastic. He really is getting away with so much. He's able to afford so much of this. If the roaches continue to come in, our Marines will come around and try and fight them. Of course, the Marines have the ability just to jump back into that medevac and just to evacuate away at whatever moment they find convenient. So they will do exactly that, as we have the Balin Nest coming up as well. Infestation Pit 2, we never really expected Dog to just purely play roaches. At some point, switching in towards some Ling Bane happens quite often. That's going to be exactly the case here, as our Orbital gets some SCVs going. Tanks are going to set up still in the center. 1-1 upgrades, the concussive shells. All of that coming out. Marines come through, knocking down some extra creep also, so just going through with that, doing as best we can. And effects still overhead, and we got ourselves the Hive, the Infestors, the missiles, and the Carapace, all the good stuff again, continue to build here for just the moment. His medevac's going to boost up into the natural as well. But gonna get turned around pretty quickly, so not too much gonna happen out of that. The medevac's still cruising about and seeing what will go down. Bio coming up, a little bit of roach ravage still coming through. We've got our bio here in the center, trying to battle just a little bit, and we go with the bio units pushing through. The roach ravager getting chased away. Infestor lands a fungal growth onto the Bioforce. The medevac's taking some shots as well. Tank's still firing up. ByuN, an okay fight. Dodges that fungal growth pretty nicely. Means that that one kind of just missed. Both sides taking an okayish trade. What I still love for ByuN is just the control of the map. It feels like, you know, Dark is struggling to get any creep spread out. Just feels like as ByuN sits here, I still like a lot of what he's got going on. Now, he just now starts up a 4th base in the additional factory, so he's going to have himself better set up for the future instead of just this one push. So that's something of a position, but there is such a thing as sticking around a little bit too long, and Dark is edging his way towards the Hive Tech units. The Vipers, obviously going to be a really good addition as well. As you get Vipers up, you can obviously trade very well against Siege Tanks especially, so that's definitely one extra thing that we watch for. Once those Vipers come in and do some spellcasting, they're likely going to make the difference, as well as the Lings, the Roaches, the Banes. They continue to come through still for the moment, so across they go. Another tank going to get knocked down, and we just have the Marines turning back around as well. Still Roach Ravager getting chased back up. A couple more corrosive files coming through. Tank and sieges, the bio pulling back through the center. Roaches, Banes, the Ravagers, and a bit of everything coming up right now as our melee upgrade, and our +2 Carapace coming up as well. Just for a little while longer still, as we have ourselves the army of ByuN. It's going to back off, and it feels as though Dark finally gets a few moments of not having to worry about where the Terran player is at and what the Terran player is trying to do. As ByuN takes his 4th base, he just stopped a moment to make sure that that got up and online. That's not a nice little upgrade lead. Would have been even better if his +2 attack was on time, but, well, it's ByuN. His +2 attack is often trailing his +2 armor for some reason. The jury is still out as to why, but yeah, it happens way more often than you'd probably expect it to. Let's just have our Lings continue to come about here, and just seeing the Ravages owning the middle of the map a little bit more. That's one of the big deals right now, is that you actually own the middle of the map a little bit as Dark, compared to previously. Dark was, you know, like I say, he'd had a lot of the creep push back. ByuN was very much so owning the middle. He was in position. He was, you know, getting himself in good positions and pushing with it as well. So yeah, kind of pretty happy to see that Dark is able to kind of retake control, because that definitely gives us a back and forth game most likely, as that bio coming up. A couple corrosive bombs will drop down for a Widow Mine, so just going to knock that down. And still pressing through, and we have ourselves the feelings peeling off over to the side. Going to go after a Marine. Bio heads around the bottom. Our Zerglings just coming up. We still see 3-3 coming out. The Spire on the way through. This army's continuing to press forward a little bit. The Bio Force is still pressuring, and good enough to pressure as well, most importantly. There's definitely scenarios here sometimes where maybe that pressure would not be able to work out, but right now he's standing in the middle of the map. He's taking fights, splitting nicely. Dark actually losing a chunk of supply, while it's ByuN that continues to press forward. Parasitic bombs go down. Just going to be seeing our Banelings trying to roll in as the fungal growths have already dropped. But ByuN definitely has momentum on his side. He's going to probably kill a base here, and Dark seems to think that 5th is important. I don't disagree. It's that it's, you know, timing of the game here where 5th base is kind of important. ByuN is going to get rid of it, and that's a big win for the Shopify Rebellion Terran, who is putting himself into a very good spot here in this game number 1. Now, Dark is trying to fight his way up to a Greater Spire, an Ultra Cavern. So much investment into things while not being maxed out. Obviously, some of this was on the way before these fights happened, and before Dark maybe realized the situation he was going to be in. Dark also invested into 5 more Infestors, knowing that they can perhaps find some very good value with kind of, you know, especially as they were kind of just very gas intensive and he had gas to spend. Actually, Dark just has money to spend still. He's going to start up a few Corruptors, and I mean, he still lost the 5th base, however, so ByuN will control this area. Again, personal cloaking, so the Ghosts are going to be ready to cloak up in the very near future too. That's also going to be a good factor that we'll keep our eyes on in the next couple of minutes. Fire coming out, Creep Jimmer is getting knocked down. Maybe seeing ByuN still on this top side of the map, still really feeling as though he can get the job done. He's not letting up pressure at all. Like you say, he is teching behind it, he's getting Ghosts ready and so on, but keeping this going, cancels the base that tries to come up top right. The Marauders there could maybe have made a stim towards those Infestors and start a pullback now, so maybe the moment is gone. As Dark is going to build 5 Broodlords, a way for him to survive, and if he can just get to those Broodlords, perhaps they give him the time to retake control of this game, just once again in general. Fire still pressing through, the Lings and the Banes coming out, the Bioforce is there to fight, and you see a lot of the Lings just continue to drop down dead. Yeah, the Broodlords though, and I think that's the moment where ByuN has to back this up and say, okay, you kind of got me, you know, maybe not got me, but you've got me, you know, you've got a wave to slow me down, finally. To stop this from happening as Widow Mine goes off. More Lings coming out, plus 2 missiles and plus 3 melee. All continuing up, the Overseers as well on the way through. Lings drop down, a few of those Lings getting picked off also. You see a Queen in the center going down, a couple of Lings still being picked off as well. Now the big jump into this main base, actually. We're going to see that be the next play as we have the Bio forces coming through. And, well, ByuN just staying very active. If you don't want to fight the Broodlords, run around them, hit elsewhere. That seems to be his game plan at the moment, and he is absolutely making that game plan work out. Hydrogen coming up. We got ourselves the Kindness plate and +3 melee. Dog desperately trying to find anything he can. He still has money in the bank. Dog could get back to maxed out, but I think throughout this entire time he has had a little bit of an issue with lava. So I do think he's been having quite the lava problem. Medivac's going to come back around again, and just seeing how a few Widow Mines getting set up. Hellbat's Thor's on the way. I mean, ByuN really playing into late game now. The Thor's really good to help zone out Broodlords. You know those Broodlords, they want to get forward. The Thor's really stopped them from being able to achieve that, so that's going to be one of the big goals here out of ByuN. He continues to move around with some of his other units as well. Drops down a hatchery over on this side, so gets rid of that. And a couple of Corruptors, a few Hydras, a handful of Banelings. So all these little bits and bobs continuing out. ByuN can utilize and try and fight against, and Dog can try and utilize. Now, as we settle down, one of the things that happens as we settle down is the damage that ByuN already did is very impactful. You know, having slowed Dog down on a 5th base and forced him to take the 5th to the top, having cleaned out so much of the creep, the game might slow down, the numbers might start to even, but a lot of the setup in the game is still very good for the Terran player. ByuN, who has taken a 6th base already, ByuN, who is not going to have to worry about the Zerg just having every part of the map envisioned because of creep spread. Dark has got to be feeling a little bit more concerned, a little bit more worried than he would be otherwise. Fire into the center, a few Lings going down, so we get a couple of kickoffs with that. You see our Bio and our Ghost coming through here. A little fungal growth going for these Ghosts. No saving those, and that's just a loss from ByuN. That's definitely a little bit of a mistake. Shouldn't be losing that much in that scenario for sure. Wardy, what's the orbital count? I don't know, mate. I'm watching the clean feed, so I can't... I can't check at all. I'm not even in game. It's not like I'm just stealing someone else's camera even. I'm just literally not in the game, so... Yeah. I mean, you can see at least 2, maybe 3 in front of the 3rd base. And then, if they're all finished and they're all orbitals, I think he might have 5 additional orbitals on top of the triple CC he originally had. So maybe like 7, 8, I think would be a pretty safe guess right now. ByuN is kind of zerging the Zerg right here. He is taking all... Like, if you put ByuN's bases with a bunch of creep spread around them, and then you kind of turn the creep spread off on Dark side of the map, I would not be surprised. I'd be like, oh yeah, Zerg's really controlling this game as they should be. ByuN looks like the Zerg with the amount of bases he's getting now. He's getting jumped on, still going to be important for him to take some proper fights here. Corrosive Bars coming down, forcing the Medivacs to back up. Fungal Growth going to kill one. Those Ghosts in trouble. This is probably one of the worst fights that ByuN has taken in the game so far. And that's going to be, I guess, in a way, because he didn't really want to take it. Dark forced the issue, and he gets a lot of value out of it. Big loss for ByuN on that right-hand side, and now Dark might be able to come forward with a little bit of momentum. This might be all that Dark needs to get rid of another base, and then all of a sudden, this game starts to look very, very different than it did a few moments ago, perhaps. More shots going off, a couple more of these Broodlings going down as the Broodlords are still here and still apparent in this game. Now we're building Ultras on the side of Dark as well, and he's got Lurkers showing up. A little bit of just to build everything apparently on the side of Dark. ByuN needs a few moments to restabilize in this situation. A few units going to pull back up this ramp, trying to get away. Hellbats, Thors, Ghosts all continue now, +3 vehicle weapons on the way up as well, so all of that coming through. We have ourselves the Ravagers still moving back over the left-hand side, and again, Infestinglings building up. 12 SCVs died for ByuN, but I mean, he's still stable enough there. Dark is also not working off of an absolutely untouchable economy. He's working with 60 drones only, so Dark's eco and Dark's base count is obviously still very bad. He's actually extremely reliant on his current army. Like, he doesn't have the tools that a Zerg would usually have to kind of go, rebuild, go again. And because of that, it's very important he gets something done with what he currently has up. That's where sniping these ultras would be quite nice, but apparently the ghosts don't find the chance, they don't get in range. ByuN losing that bottom left base. And this is where he starts to, I mean, again, the thing about where we were at a few moments ago, ByuN was pushing 7-8 bases. Looking very different now. He does catch these ultras, though. That's a really nice catch. He loses one ghost. That was just in the front, but nice to get rid of a chunk of supply of the Zerg. As a few Lings are going to try and be trouble. Again, this is just the difference that having momentum on your side makes. Suddenly it's Dark that's doing all the run-bys and hitting places and trying to pull ByuN's army around and pull it apart in general. So a lot of value being found out of that, as you do see Lings still diving through. The other Lings coming out now. Giving a Neural Parasite up. That's actually a big deal for Dark. Neural Parasite's the sort of thing that helps you take some of these later game fights. So heading in the right direction with that. A bit of a trade out going on over here. As you see, Fungal Grove's going down. Thor's taking the brunt of this damage, though. Now you can Corrosive Powers. Obviously, that's not something you necessarily want to be tanking, but otherwise looking pretty comfortable. This army will start to move back just a little bit. All about Thor's just coming around. Factories setting up. We do have the couple ghosts still coming through. The Lings working on those SCVs. A few Lings on the right side getting set up as well. We have more of these units of ByuN still pushing around the south. Lings will grab a ghost here, so that ghost is going to go down. Another ghost coming across. We have a few Vikings still setting up. A couple Hellbats going to go making their way to the top as well. Going to get rid of a couple of those Lings. More Lings just going to begin to fall as well. 23 minutes deep here to start off this best of 7. Oceanborn delivering between ByuN and Dark. ByuN's got the supply lead once more, and in scrappy supplies like this, you oftentimes do favor a Terran just naturally. And ByuN has an army supply lead to kind of go along with that as well then, so in general, that should be pretty good for him here, as we just see the Thors continue to fight. They are just not being killed. Game is called by Dark, and ByuN is going to get the victory. Shopify Rebellion are going to be off to a start. Downtime. As we get into game number 2, there he is. In high definition, ByuN. Blue Terran taking on the Zerg. Dark. Game number 2 of this series as we get underway. Game number 2 comes on up. We're not gonna go CC first on the low ground. I like this a lot. I think this is very smart. So the reason this is very smart is because CC first is on this big map is going to be nice. So CC first alone, I like that. But then I think what I really like is that he puts it on that in-base expand. Now that's really clever because that location is one where you do have to mine minerals out to take it, but as a Terran, you just get that CC finished, send the SCV that built the CC to start mining them, and the CC morphs into an orbital, then you just fly it across and you land it on location, right? So then that's very good. You get to start mining that base quickly. But most importantly, the Zerg is going to come across, see the Terran's natural have no expansion, and probably at least have a minor heart attack, right? Like, at least have at least a couple of moments of like, oh crap, this ain't good. You know, so you've at least got to respect the possibility of this is a full-on proxy, this is a full-on, like, onslaught. As Dark is about to put down a very fast third hatchery. I feel like if he sees no natural here, he is absolutely crossing his fingers and hoping and praying the command center is in fact on this location where we see it, because if it's not, and he was being proxied, he might be in a lot of trouble with the speed at which he's setting up into his third base. Doesn't take any gas, although gas wouldn't have helped him to defend against a proxy rack, so unless he wanted to try and play a roach defense, you can't do that if you don't have any gas, obviously. Marine coming across, Overlord is going to get chased away, so just going to push that back. turning that around. The factory still coming up for just a couple of moments. Couple queens still coming through. Our drones coming in. All of this getting settled. As we have ourselves the reactor, the SCVs, the starport, all coming up as well. As the Ling, just checking on things. Like I say, in the end, Dark does not have anything to worry about, but yeah, I like the mind game. It's cheeky. It's the sort of thing that if you start doing it now when the map's first around, and then you continue to do it once it gets to, once you get to the future and you start kind of, in the future you can start actually proxying, and then your opponents don't know. They're like, there's two things he can really do, and then you've got, got to really respect that. Definitely gets quite fun, definitely gets quite interesting, I feel like. A lot of extractors coming through, queens coming up. As we get ourselves settled here. And the roach roaring starts up from Dark, so he's going to go roaches right off the bat. No link speed from him. Not going to try and take map control in the slightest just yet. As yes, Dark picked this map, guys. Dark chose to play this map where the Terran is pretty much impenetrable on 3 bases. But it's a very large map outside of that, and maybe that's what Dark wants. Big map, where yeah, ByuN gets the first 3 bases, but then Dark can really control 4+ bases on the game, and that stage of the game. So maybe that is something of a factor here. Coming over with the few Hellions, so ByuN actually going to try and drop a little bit for some early damage. It's actually very nice because he's playing against a someone that went for the no Ling speed opening. You won't have Lings to defend against this, so if the Hellions find a position where like Roach's out of position, or if they drop past the Roaches, they could potentially get a lot of damage done, and they could really kind of, overwhelm Dark, where he doesn't necessarily expect to have to defend. So it's a cute idea. Usually if you go kind of no Ling speed opening, the Hellions would love to kind of dive by. In this case, they just try and drop. Dark's defense is good. The queens are there quickly. The medevac gets turned around. That will not do anything just yet. So Dark is going to find himself... Dark is going to find himself without an issue just yet. Again, not getting punished for this initial setup, as I mentioned. Siege tank on the way, 1-1 upgrades and the stim pack on the way. We have ourselves the extra racks coming through, 12 more drones in production, a couple overlords coming around. These Marines are going to peel back in toward the natural expansion as well, so they're just going to peel back over this side and get themselves back up just for the moment. Well, Spire, Mailing Nest, a lot of good stuff on the way through here, as we just have Dark getting himself established into the next stage of this game, which is going to be moving away from the Roaches into Lingbane Muta. What a fascinating transition that Dark sets up for. This is unlike things that you really see. Roaches into Lingbane, sure, but the Spire is early enough that it has to be kind of Lingbane Muta, right? More so than anything else. You knock down this Overlord in the high ground. What an absolutely fascinating way of playing Raduset Station. Genuinely very interested as to what's happening here. Is just have 1-1 upgrades and the combat shield all continuing through as well. We do have the armories about to finish up. Our queens coming back across this side. They're going to be able to push those medevacs back straight away. So they get shoved away to 8 Mutalisks currently in production. On the way out right here. Medevacs Marines still moving around in the center, so they keep on getting themselves set up for a moment. Just going to see the Roaches are going to still be kind of the point of defense at the front at least, so we do expect them to continue providing a little bit of value. The Banelings on the way up, and the +1 fly attack, the melee upgrades all coming out as well. And the mid is actually finding the medevac off over on that right hand side. Just going to be able to nab that pretty quickly. going to dive down. They're going to find themselves one Mutalisk straight away. Second Muta taking a few shots of damage. Big enough map where the Mutalisks absolutely are going to be a very viable option. So the Mutas themselves are not exactly the craziest of choices as they try and fly over to the sides here. Again, just going to be seeing our melee upgrades both coming up. Burrow coming up. The +1 flyer attack is on the way in. These mutas are being deflected, and that's going to mean that ByuN can deal with that nicely. Starting up his 2-2 upgrades already going to be pretty quick to get himself set up there. So, not wasting time at all. Get himself established nice and quickly here as Lingbane sets up from Dark. Remember that Dark obviously again went for those melee upgrades in the end. He did choose to do that. Again has that armor upgrade faster than the attack. As the roaches. Do you guys know, does anyone actually know what makes those rocks sometimes only take half damage? Like, only half of them take damage, and sometimes they all take the same damage? They're just going to be holding back here. Tanks are ready to fire. Banes continue to crash forwards, and as that Marine split up, a lot of Banelings will continue to come through. This army of ByuN just got wiped, and now the Mutas will chase as well once these Medivacs have no boost, which is right now. There's no getting away with anything. The map is too large to get home, and ByuN is going to lose the last few Marines that did make the getaway, did jump in those Medivacs. Every Medivac dead. Dark swarms. And that is going to be that. Oh, it's just top versus bottom? They're bugged on the bottom? I see. Okay. So it's just a bug. They are fixing the maps that are with the ESL versions, I believe, as the mutas here will work their way through these rocks so we can... I don't know what the plan becomes necessarily, but I guess we'll see it pan out in the next few moments, perhaps. Bane Roach coming around. The mutas want to go diving in. In we go. Lings are going to come running straight through there. Setting up with that as we just have Bane's rolling up this ramp as well. ByuN pulls all the way into the natural. The Ling Bane still coming across. That's going to be GG's. 1-1 tied up. Dark getting the victory and putting Dragon Kaizi to that 1-1 scoreline. Oh, here Protoss sounds. We're into this, guys. Top right. Oh, my goodness. He's so big. Past him in the top right. In the bottom left. He's so smart. It is Hero. There is something about the cameras just like popping up full screen and Harsam's head being so big anyway. that was really something. There's a couple of assimilators and a gateway coming through. Things ready to rumble. And yeah, assimilator about to finish up in these early stages. As our probes continue to chrono boost along. So chrono boosting away just for a couple of moments here. Getting all of this up and running. And they both go for the high ground gateways, which is important to note because obviously that can make quite the difference in PvP. If someone wants to go low ground, if someone wants to try and go for that kind of fast expansion. But no, for the moment, we're going to see 2 high ground gates, although that is a very fast proxied pylon from Hero, so he has aggression on the mind. I wonder if he's going to go Stargate. We've seen a lot of Stargate proxies in PvP recently since this new patch kicked off, so... I guess let's see what comes of it here. Stargate coming up, a couple of adepts coming out. We do have the Stalkers on the way from Harsam, so he's going to go his own Stargate, also proxied on the map. I told you guys, we're seeing so many proxy Stargates in PvP recently. And they're both going to go for it right now. So off we go, Stargate on Stargate, but again with the proxy, so much of this is going to be about who can just do the better, you know, get the better setup, get the better start. See who can control that proxy better. Well, you also have adepts from Hero, so Harsam is going to have to make sure those adepts do not manage to sneak in at any point. And as he makes sure to not let the adepts sneak in, he's also going to be, you know, trying to poke around with his own Stalkers to try and get something as well. So, a lot of things to look at here as our Stalkers do cancel up. Oh, well, they do. We cancel up the battery in the wall. No surprises on that one. 2 batteries building from Hero, so he's preparing for the potential of these oracles coming in. Oh, Adepts actually get through. That's bad, because now Hostum has to continue to shoot Adepts, which means that it's very possible that you get the oracles in, and they can perhaps do a lot as well. So maybe some possibility there, maybe some opportunity. As we just have Oracle flies in. Depth didn't last long enough, although this one can shade back in the main. Looks as though it died though, or just cancelled, didn't see the need to. Because it's still turned into some good damage dealt from Halston in these, from Hero in these early stages. Halston is across the map, but the batteries help Hero out so much. They really simplify this defense compared to what Halston had to pull off. Now 2 oracles together. Completely missed micro from Hero. He loses an oracle, so what happened there was he kind of lost the shots, and now Halston, he did drain that battery of energy, and he gets himself a bunch of kills himself. Okay, Hero and Oracle down too. Yeah, he missed microed. He didn't target fire the probes, so the 2 Oracles shot at different things, and then he got caught up. And then the Stalkers got in range to get the shots off and to finish it up. It's a massive win there for Halston as Super Battery Force, he gets 2 more probes. Halston is now 4 workers ahead. Army Supply lead. Twilight Council and a Nexus finishing. Is there anything this man can't do in this game right now? Apparently not. Apparently not. Blink is starting up from Halston. Like I say, he's already on the Nexus. He's already on the Expand. Heroes and Oracle down. I mean, this is a fantastic start for our Shopify Rebellion Protoss. He is looking great in this game 1. Hero, what does Hero need to do? Well, perform some kind of satanic ritual or something, or demonic ritual, and make something weird happen, because he's just in a rough spot. These oracles, they obviously come back in again. Halston gets a few more probes, still just getting damage done. The moment that Halston hits Blink, he should just be able to go across the map and have a very good time. These Adepts are going to get into the main base, their Shades at least. They could commit if they want to try and go for some probes, which is exactly what they'll do. Halston will just take this as a chance to shoot down these Adepts. Oracle came in to help as well, so Halston actually loses 6 workers. So obviously that's not ideal. He still is up a base though, so he'll replenish some of this advantage before we, before too long. That at least is the good news. The Blink comes up, Immortal, and the Nexus coming through, probe on the way. 6 workers was kind of nice, but again, Halston did kill off units, and units are going to be the issue, as now Halston is going to have Blink versus no Blink. There is a Robe One and Immortal up though from Heroes, so maybe that can help you out. Definitely feel like Halston with Blink in play should be able to get across the map and should be able to start looking for something in these very near future. Nexus finishes up on the natural of Heroes, so there is now Nexus. Expand versus Expand is up 28 to 24 workers, so Halston still leads by 4. And he's starting to move through, see what he can do with his Stalkers. Going to bring the ones out of the main base as well, so you'll have a lot of Stalkers across the map. And this really feels as though it's going to come down to that Immortal defensively. It's going to have so much of a job to do. That Immortal is going to be a big deal. As Stalkers make their way across. Solara's kind of a small map on its own accord anyway as well, so you can move across here pretty quickly. Stalkers start to arrive in the front. And you see a couple shots going down. Stalkers taking damage, Sentry as well. Nexus taking a couple shots too, as we have our Mortal still pressing forward. Forge coming up, the Probe coming in. Oracle's going for 6 workers so far. Looking at 7. Quite going to get there just yet. There is an Oracle on this side of the map that goes down, so Hero's now down that Oracle as well. And I mean, this again just gets better and better for Halston. This situation continues to improve massively. Few more Adepts warp in beneath this prism. He is just going to get that up. Probe is going to come nibbling at the pylon. Guardian Shield pops up. Just going to see these Stalkers getting chased a little bit. We start to push on in. In we go as we have ourselves the Stalkers coming back through. A few probes as well. Just going to come in. Stalkers get underneath the prism. That's a big part of this play. We shoot down one of the Immortals. Now the other Immortal is going to be the biggest problem here. Just need to get rid of that, but without any warping potential, without any micro potential, because there's no prism anymore, Halston should just be able to clean this up. He's lost some probes, but he's now killing probes on the other side as well. As Halston is going to get the GG out of Hero. And Halston is going to get the celebration. You always have to hold your breath when Halston wins the map just to see what the celebration is going to be. Halston taking that first game, putting the Shopify Rebellion up. Let's see if we can put them onto match point with another map win. Hero, his proxy Stargate just didn't get the job done, and now his team needs him to win. To give them the chance of winning without going to the ace, that would be the real goal here. Avoid the ace match, because if you lose the if you go to the ace match, even if you win, you lose a point to the other team, because they force the ace match. They get 1 point, and that's the points that do determine the rankings of the teams when it comes to their positions in the group stage. So trying to win without an ace is pretty important, and obviously it's not terrible to go to the ace against strong teams, but obviously Dragon Kaizi really expect to be able to beat everyone without ace matches, and that includes teams like, you know, Shopify Rebellion, I imagine, because they're just a very strong team that are very confident in their players. Austin, at the very least, could guarantee Shopify an ace if he wins this map, so let's see what we're going to do as we get set up. Cybercore's coming up on both sides, Gateway coming into play. Having ourselves Cybercore, Gateway, all coming up. A couple probes coming through for a couple of moments as well. Stargate building, a couple of adepts coming in. Just going to see our Stalker and the Robo coming up as well. So all of this coming out, all of this getting going. Just for the moment. Good depths moving out, obviously. Stargate versus Robo, the third gateway coming up from here as well. Austin Stargate top right. Well, that doesn't mean he won't be able to use the Stargate much defensively, but he can force units back at home, and that potentially slows down Hero a lot. Hero going 2 more gateways. Does he only have what? Does Hero only have 1 gateway on the low ground, actually? So he's trying to make this look like an expand, but then he's not going to expand. He's playing a bit of a mind game. So I think this is just going to be 3 gates in total, so it's not going to be anything crazy like 4 gates. Prism on the way up. Away we go. Just a couple of adepts just continuing across for a few moments here. Adepts just going to wander towards the natural oracle on the way. Warp gate coming through. Another gateway coming out as we just have ourselves. The Immortal starting to produce. Oracle coming in. Going to go after a couple of these probes. So 2 probes killed already. And the Immortal from Hero still producing through, so just bringing all of that up. And a lot of that ready for the moment still, as you just have this Prism now showing up. I mean, Halston still yet to really strike in any big way. He's got himself the depths coming through now. They're definitely going to be an issue. Immortal chilling on the ramp. And again, the Prism just moving around. Stalkers get there. Halston not really finding any damage. Although Halston was actually up 5 workers, so even though he's lost a couple, he's looking okay. Neither player expands or anything. Halston now building his own Immortals, so getting ready to be defensive against what is obviously pressure from his opponent. Well, shot's going to go off. The Immortal going to take some damage initially. Halston with the defense so far. Can he hold on? And what can Hero do from here as well? Halston now getting the Prism. That micro is obviously going to be pretty important as well, so Prism micro will be a big part. That's why he gets his own Prism. He does lose the pylon power in his gate, so a little bit of production lost here. Austin will have a few moments of things maybe not looking quite so hot. I'll have to try and get this re-established, but at the moment it's definitely been a pretty decent start from Hero, poking forward and now picking away at those gates. The Adepts will threaten to shade by as well, which is also a slight problem. As the Stalkers come back through, the Immortal firing up a storm, some shots going out. They go back and forth. A couple of sentries warp in on the side of Hero, so they come through as well. And just seeing our Immortals coming up. It's the units of Hearthstone still chilling out up on the high ground just for the moment. Steps coming around, probes taking damage. Couple of probes going down here as our Prism still sets up on the high ground. Oracle coming back over. The Phoenix on the way out from Hearthstone in the upper right. That will continue to come through. Good force field, going to trap one Stalker there, so that's going to be a nice little slow down. And any unit you can grab is nice. Hero takes about a little tiny supply lead as we continue to set up. Obviously, Hearthstone is not expanding, nor is Hero. They're both sitting here. Hearthstone is going to get the Immortals across the map. It stays toward low ground. Oh, this could be a really nice way to slow Hero down, especially with the Immortals on the other side. He's going to catch a few units with that. The Immortals come in, and he starts to fight. A few Stalkers and a Sentry left back over here. Hearthstone will get rid of the Sentry, and 2 Immortals should be with the Prism able to keep on fighting. And obviously his own Immortal might be able to hold because he hit the Stasis Ward to catch a few of the opposing units. His Immortal's still microing, needs to micro correctly though, can't lose Immortals, that would be way too expensive. So you see a couple of units firing up, and we do see the Immortal coming out. Got chill pops, just have the gateway is going to fall. So that gateway will drop down again. Just going to see our Phoenix pinging away. Prism is taking some damage. Got a few more warp-ins just on the natural. Hero is down in supply. He's down on workers still. Equal army supply. Can he bust through to this high ground? Super battery fades away. These Adepts are going to commit in. They will not do much, but that's the power of the Prism just to lift them up and evacuate them very quickly. No problem at all. This Phoenix is trying to get rid of the Prism, by the way. There's not a lot of DPS against it. It doesn't quite go down, so the Prism just on the top side. Still alive. It must be kind of low HP. 7 hit points. Oh, that's very close. You deny that Prism, you deny that warp, and that would have been obviously a pretty huge deal. So it's a shame to have missed out on that opportunity. We do have Immortals back from Hero, back up towards the upper left side, so away they go. Away they move. Just kind of boosting along as we have a couple of moments then, as again Hearthstone is definitely holding Hero off. I mean, now they're both expanding. Hearthstone on his way to that Nexus a little later. Hero also on the way to Blink. Hearthstone's Oracle shows up, but we'll just try and drain this battery of energy, maybe force warp-ins to the other side. Obviously now you start defending a natural location, so that's going to be benefiting Hearthstone as well. The Adepts move up in toward the main base. And they will start to go after some of these probes. The Void Ray overhead, the battery doing some healing. A few workers starting to go down both sides. I mean, Hearthstone's getting damage done as well. So just as Hero starts to get something, Hearthstone finds some as well. And he will kill off those Adepts trying to get out. So he will at least stop the runaway. That is obviously a bonus too. Stopping that from escaping from his grasp just a little bit. Alright then, Twilight Council still on the way up as we have ourselves the units just gathering up, kind of moshing around on that natural a little bit actually, so having a couple of moments for themselves there. Prism comes back around, and definitely having ourselves one heck of a PvP. Awesome's supply maintains just a little bit of an advantage here. Again, the base timing is pretty minimal, so there shouldn't be too much of an advantage there from Hero. Warps in those couple extra Stalkers. Just the fact he has Blink is very nice. Awesome only just now started his own Blink. Prism and So coming back down, man. Hero's so aggressive with his arm. He's constantly there, waiting for a fight, looking for a fight, baiting a fight almost. As the Immortal Stalk Force gets set up again. Again with Blink, going to give him a little bit of an advantage over what he's had before. Awesome loses the Observer out the front, so at least he knows it's coming. He will just have the Prism to micro with, so again, like I say, Blink will absolutely be a big advantage there. Let's see if it's enough for Hero. As an Oracle, though, finds a natural with no battery on it, so Awesome's going to get a bunch of probes. Hero's going to drop below 20 workers in the game. Well, Hero's diving up into what the main base, but he doesn't get a force field to stop the units from just coming up this ramp, and now, well, he can obviously blink out and then micro his way with the other units, so I guess that's going to turn out to be kind of okay. Going to move back down the low ground. A couple Stalkers still in the main base. Going to get cleaned up as well. I just do not think this is working for Hero. Austin will have to recall here just because of the force field, but as he gets straight down, this is going to come down to a little bit micro. One Immortal dies when it could have been saved by the Prism. Probes are going to pull. Awesome just wants to make sure he wins this. He did more damage just a little while ago, remember, so he has the chance to give up probes and be okay here. Hero's got these Immortals and a Prism and a Dream, but the Prism goes down. Awesome gets Blink so he can come forwards as well and chase everything. Hero's numbers continue to deplete, and Awesome gets a complete defense. Hero shaking his head. Awesome is on the verge of a 2-0, and the Shopify Rebellion are looking primed to win this series. Obviously, it will not end with this victory, but they are going to be in very good position, very good shape. As Hostum is about to get a 2-0 in the PvP. That is absolutely massive. He knows the position he's in. He's starting to move out to take advantage of said position. So away we go. And looking to end this in the next couple of moments. Bring it back just a couple of moments there. We go back and forth. He's not going to find a way to end it. Although DTs into the main base are definitely going to be a slight problem here. DT goes into the natural, gonna go after a couple of probes. And that's it. GG's. Halston with the 2-0. Celebrating. Heroes straight off the webcam. Halston gets what is absolutely seen as an upset, and Dragon Kaizi Gaming are in trouble.